Hey guys, Chelsea here. I'm with Jessica Later, and she's an amazing hair and makeup artist. But today she's going to share the way she gets my hair so perfect. Beachy waves, beautiful, right?
Yes, always perfect. So Chelsea has one of my favorite heads of hair to work on. I've worked with her for quite a few years.
And she works with a lot of models, guys. I'm her favorite.
I'm one of her favorite heads of hair. So usually what I start to do with this is I'll prep the hair with something really light. I'm all a firm believer of keeping things really simple. So I usually start with, this is Ardenco Dallas. It's a thickening spray. So I'm just gonna mostly put it at her root. Kind of just get in there, massage it through with your fingers. And this will just give a little bit of volume. After that, I mostly just try to section off the hair into a few sections. I take the front and come to the side, just mostly from the crown down behind the ear on both sides. And then for the back, depending on how thick your hair is, I like to take about 2 to 3 sections. So I'll put it up into about 3 different sections here. Now to start, I know a lot of people think that the best way to get their curl to stay is to use a lot of product, a lot of hairspray, but it's actually gonna work against you in the end. So I'll brush out this section and I'll put just like a light hairspray. I'm still a firm believer in Elnet. And just do a really light spray. You should be able to still brush through it. It shouldn't be sticky, shouldn't be snarly, anything like that. All right, so with this back section, one little hack I like to tell people is to always make the bottom layer a little tighter curl than the rest of your hair, because the weight of your hair is actually gonna pull it down and make it straighter throughout the day anyway. So I typically take about a 1-inch, 2-inch section of hair, make sure it's nice and smooth so you can roll through it. And I like to use an iron. You can use a flat iron, you can use a wand. This way I've found has always been the best for me. This is a Marcel iron. And I always wrap it around the barrel, right up from the top, and I leave the end out just a little bit of the straight end right there to keep it a little more of a beachy wave. And I like to hold it, maybe tap it with my finger a little bit just to make sure the heat has gone through, and then let it off. You want to keep it there, don't touch it quite yet. You want the curl to cool, because that will actually help set the curl. If you brush right through it right away, it'll straighten it out.
I see a lot of people pull on their hair after.
That's actually a good option if you decide like this is too curly. If you pull down on it a little bit, still when it's hot, it's going to actually straighten the curl a little bit. A lot of times people will curl their hair and then afterwards they'll go through it with a flat iron, which is also another option. But this is a better way to kind of straighten it without going back over it with a heat tool to keep it a little healthier. So one little trick I like to show is to actually turn your iron horizontal and wrap it that way. And then if you can kind of twist it up from here. That makes it a little bit easier to do if you're working on the back of your hair. And then I'll lightly spray it again with just a little hairspray, but then we don't touch it from there. Then I'll go down to the next section. So again, these 2 sections, I know a lot of people like to alternate your iron sizes, which is another option as well. Just kind of depends on the look you're going for. The way I'm styling her hair today, it actually can be used in 2 different ways. You can kind of have a more polished beachy look, or polished curls, or you can make it a little more tousled, a little more sexy, which is my favorite look, especially on Chelsea.
Me too.
And so that's what I like about this technique, because it can kind of be used in a few different ways. So a trick when I get to the top of the hair, a lot of times I'm trying to create a little bit more volume, especially if your hair is longer. It's harder to get that lift. A lot of times it can just be flat. I like to use a different kind of technique. This one may take some practice. So if you can't do this, you can still always wind it around it. I like to clamp the hair right at the root, hold it there, and you just kind of slide it through. Rotate around again. Slide, rotate. All the way down to the ends. This helps give it a little bit more volume at the root. And it's a little easier to do when it's to the top of your head. The back of your head, you're gonna have a little bit. You're gonna have a bad time. But the top And you just kind of slowly uncoil it and let that hang there. Usually helps get a little bit more lift right there at the crown. So after you finish the back section, again, it looks a little curly Q right now. Light spray with hairspray, but we're still just gonna leave it, let it hang out for a second while we focus on the front. The front sections I think are the most important part. This is what you're gonna see first. This is what's framing your face. So I think you take a little extra care when you're thinking about this section. This front section, I'm only gonna use two, split it into two sections. And again, just a light spray. You should be able to run your fingers through it just fine. So I'm gonna start with the back section first, because again, the front sections are most important. Sitting technique, I'm just gonna wrap around. You wanna make sure you focus, again, most of the heat right at the root. So this front section, you can do a few ways. You can still wrap it if you would like, or most of the time I like to do the slide technique that I did at the top. So then the top section here, this is when I get a little crazy. So again, with a little hairspray. This is when I'm gonna actually take kind of less, maybe a little bit smaller sections than I would normally. So this is about half the size of the normal sections I've been taking. These I'm still gonna wrap, and always away from the face. If you wrap it towards the face, it's gonna tend to close in your look, and your hair is gonna be kind of, it kind of just makes it a little more of an older style. This opens up the face, it kind of gives a more Beyonce.
Ooh, and we all want to look like Beyonce. I do hear a lot of people talk about changing directions with their curls though.
You definitely can.
What is the difference, like what does that do for your hair?
That, a lot of times people do it to make it have a more of a natural look. Like this is my natural curl, and if you do it opposite directions, it makes it a little messier, which you definitely can do. The reason I'm doing this mostly in the same direction on one side and the other side is so that you can wear this two different ways. I'm going to show you first how you can make it look smooth and polished, and then once you want to make it look a little more beachy, I can show you how to do that. And typically it ends up looking pretty similar to if you rotated the curls also. So the great thing I also like about this style is it can last you a few days.
Yes, I cheat Jessica's hair all the time. I just make a little bit of dry shampoo in there, and then from me sleeping on it, I'll get a couple of stragglers, and so I'll just curl those pieces a tiny bit, and that's it.
Well, I'm going to show you a good way to
cheat it even better.
To how to put your hair up for when you sleep so it can last.
How have I not known about this way?
I'm going to tell you all the fun stuff.
Okay, I'm a little upset.
I've used that trick on my mother, Carol.
Carol, I know Carol.
For many years. All right, I'm going to leave this last piece for a little bit later. But again, you can see the side. We're still very much curly Q. Don't worry about that, we will fix it. No big deal. So what I'm gonna like to do with this style is to make it last as long as possible, and if we want to go a few days without washing our hair, which I know we all do.
We do.
My go-to regimen is first day you blow it out, you wear it straight. Second day you give it these beautiful beachy waves. Third day you can either salvage the waves and wear them down again, or you can bring your hair up in like a fun little top knot, a braid, a messy pony. Because typically when you're styling anything up like that, it's good to have texture in it already.
Mine always ends up in a bun.
Yes, perfect. Alright, so again back to the top section. So the reason I like to take a few sections in the front, even though we don't have as much hair in the front, a lot of times we end up getting this wave where it has a big bump, big curl right here. It ends up being right about where your cheekbone is. And for most people, that's the widest part of your face, and it ends up really drawing attention across, which is not always a good thing. So I like to mix up these top curls a little bit more so you don't get that problem. So even if you do your back section a little bit looser, or you don't pay as much attention to it, that's fine. And mostly people care about the front of your hair. Let's be serious.
I mean, so.
Exactly. So now we're gonna get to the most important section, these little guys. So you can still leave them straight. No, I'm just kidding. You can still use this with a curling iron, and sometimes I do, if you only want to use one iron and keep things a little more simple. I actually typically like to take a flat iron for these. A lot of times you see these hairstyles where you get this big lift right here, and it kind of makes it a little more old school, kind of 70s. If you're going for that fair faucet, more power to you. But I think for this kind of a situation, you almost want to have it come down on the face and then open up from there. So I take my flat iron and I overdirect it forward and then start to slide and curl from there. But this section is actually going to be a lot less curled than the rest of it.
This is one of my favorite things about the hair that you do.
Yes.
No one else does that.
I think it makes a huge difference. So if you look at it, if you just look at it by itself, it's a lot straighter. Because I want this to kind of draw the attention right down by the eye, and then kind of straight down here. So again, you can use a curling iron for this. I think it's a little harder to achieve, but again, you want to overdirect this forward and kind of curl it pretty soon after, like about an inch away, and kind of pull it down as you go.
I've also seen you do the curling iron first and then kind of just go over these pieces to straighten them out a little.
I have done that too. That's what I'm saying. You can use your curling iron too. If you're going to do that, I kind of focus on getting the curl kind of up here first and then slide it down through there. Most importantly, you just don't want it to end up a big curl right here, which is what happens a lot. Okay, so now we have this set to go. Finally, we're gonna get rid of some ringlets there. I'm gonna take a big paddle brush and just kind of run through it. Now I know some people are like, why would you do that? You're just ruining all those curls. But it's actually gonna, I like to make it a little smoother. It kind of unifies the curls all together. If you want a super beachy look, you can always just run your fingers through it. That also works. But I feel like it also makes it a look less full. So I'm all about big full hair.
Sexy waves.
Big, sexy hair. So that's why I'm a firm believer in I like to brush it up first, kind of put some air back into the hair. So we're gonna back in with my favorite product. This is Catwalk Sea Salt Spray. I get made fun of for using it.
And I love it. It's like one of my favorite things.
But it smells delicious, and the greatest thing about it is for a salt spray, it's really light. And it doesn't make your hair sticky.
No, the greatest thing about it is that you can pick it up at drugstores and it's like, how much?
It's probably like $12 or something.
Amazing.
Okay, I'm just gonna spray this all throughout her hair. This is where we're gonna make the curl a little more beachy. So I like to just kind of spray it all the way through, and as I'm going through, I'm kind of like messing with my fingers. In the industry, you do a lot of twisting with your fingertips. Texture is what they like to call it. So you get used to doing that a lot. So you don't need a lot necessarily. I want her to have a very textured, beachy look. So I'm a little bit heavy-handed with this on her. One other thing I really like to do is if you want to look extra messy, extra tousled, I hit it right at the root and just kind of go in there with my fingers a little bit. From here, you can get a little extra lift. I kind of go in
extra.
Lift it with your fingers. You can even spray some dry shampoo on your fingers and kind of lift it up through this way.
This is something that I've watched you do, so now I do it myself. Like if I feel like my hair looks a little bit flat before I go into a casting, I'm just like sticking my fingers up underneath.
Get in there.
Shaking it out.
There. Your fingers are your best tools here for your hair.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. So for the final finished product, I'll put a little bit of waxy pomade in my hair. Sometimes I'll steal a men's product. So if you got a boyfriend, a little bit of pomade or something, or you can get your own. I'll rub it all in between, in my palms and in between your fingers. Always, always start in the back. You don't want to get a huge grease spot in the front of your hair. And then I just kind of rub it between my fingers.
And does that just add shine, or what is that?
This just adds a little bit more separation.
Oh, okay.
face, and that would be your finished look. Let me just show you the back. So if you remember, we started out with some pretty curly cues, but as you get working through it, it ends up just being a really natural, beachy wave. So again, this is one of my favorite looks. If you want to make this last an extra day, or 2 or 3, hopefully not 3, my best recommendation is to gather all of your hair up to the very crown of your head, like so. Right on top of her head. You're gonna spin it around and lightly clip it. Either with just like a little duckbill clip, whatever you got, and that way it stays out of your face. When you take it out, your curls will be intact. You may be a little bit straight underneath, but that's okay. You can kind of fix those if you really please, but then it just gives you an even more natural, wavy, and I literally just woke up like this look.
My favorite is always when you do my hair and then the next morning and I can get on the gram when we make a stop and be like, yeah, I woke up like those guys.
Get on that gram and post.
Because it's all about the gram.